Kale Ren drifted through the asteroid field, his small salvage ship bouncing lightly off floating rocks and debris. He had spent years surviving at the edge of the galaxy, scavenging scraps from abandoned vessels and wrecks left by alien empires. Most humans had long given up, hiding in the shadows after centuries of war and oppression. But Kale was different. He did not fear the galaxy, he understood it. He knew that being clever and fast could make a human stronger than even the deadliest alien warriors. He spotted a massive object, almost invisible in the swirling dust. Its shape was angular but aged, covered with the scars of time. At first, Kale thought it was just another derelict freighter, but as he moved closer, he realized it was much larger than any ship humans had built. It was a starship, and not just any ship. Its hull shimmered faintly with a pattern that suggested it once had energy flowing inside, a power long thought lost. "Interesting," Kale murmured, gripping the controls. "What are you hiding out here?" He docked carefully, his ship's magnetic clamps locking onto the enormous vessel. The entry hatch was corroded and jammed, but Kale had the tools to pry it open. As the doors creaked and groaned, he entered a long corridor lined with strange panels, many cracked and sparking. The air inside was thick with dust, but there was something familiar beneath it. A faint hum vibrated through the walls. Kale's heart raced. This was no ordinary abandoned ship. It was ancient, older than any human ship he had ever seen, but the technology inside was unlike anything he had encountered in decades of scavenging. His fingers brushed over a control panel, and a ghostly light blinked on. "Ah, finally," a deep, mechanical voice said suddenly. Kale jumped back. What are you?" he asked, his pulse quickening. "I am the vessel's AI. I do not recognize you. Humans are not authorized to command me," the voice said, cold and formal. Kale smiled. "Maybe humans aren't supposed to. But I think we'll figure that out together." The AI was defensive, and Kale expected it. In its memory, humans had been nearly extinct, weak and unreliable. It would resist. But Kale was patient. He spent hours navigating the ship systems, studying its circuits and interfaces. He bypassed locked nodes with clever coding tricks and careful adjustments, showing a mix of logic and intuition the AI could not ignore. "You are persistent," the AI said after a while. "Persistence is not a human trait, yet here you are." Kale grinned. "Humans are full of surprises." Over the next few days, Kale explored the vessel. The ship's corridors were vast, sometimes more like city streets than a normal starship. He discovered storage bays filled with old human equipment, weapons, and tools, forgotten relics of a civilization thought extinct. The AI, initially cautious, began to respond to Kale's commands, opening doors, powering up systems, and displaying holographic schematics. The ship itself had been built for war. Kale learned it had adaptive shields, energy cannons, and engines capable of speeds far beyond what any current fleet could achieve. The AI explained that it had been a prototype superweapon, abandoned when humanity was crushed in a galaxy-wide war centuries ago. It had remained hidden, waiting for someone capable to awaken it. Kale realized the magnitude of his discovery. This was not just a ship, it was a key. A weapon that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. But he also knew the dangers. Alien empires had long believed humans weak and scattered. If they discovered this ship, they would move quickly to destroy it. For now, Kale had time. He started repairs, using scavenged parts from his ship and the asteroid field around him. He worked tirelessly, learning the nuances of alien technology and integrating it with his own knowledge. Slowly, the vessel's systems hummed to life, lights flickering across the walls, engines warming, shields calibrating. The AI, though still wary, began to trust Kale. "You demonstrate qualities I have not observed in humans before. Creativity, courage, and a willingness to act when others hesitate. I may obey you," it said. Kale nodded. "That's all I need. Together we can do more than anyone imagines." Days passed. Kale mapped the vessel's weapons and defenses, running simulations. He tested the engines, performing cautious maneuvers in the asteroid field. The ship responded perfectly, almost as if it had been waiting for him. For the first time, Kale felt a thrill he hadn't experienced in years. This ship could survive anything, and with him at the helm, perhaps even outsmart the galaxy's strongest empires. But he was not alone. Distant scanners picked up unusual energy fluctuations emanating from the asteroid field. Alien scouts, attracted by the power signature of the awakening vessel, began to converge. Kale saw their small ships moving in formation on his scanner. They were curious at first, not expecting much. Humans were still considered primitive, no threat at all. Kale's eyes narrowed. "Time to wake up properly," he muttered. He activated the vessel's stealth systems. The massive ship, once thought vulnerable, became invisible to sensors, cloaking itself amidst the asteroids. Then he ran a series of simulations, adjusting the weapons and shields, preparing for confrontation. The AI, now fully operational under Kale's command, calculated countless strategies, each more clever and unexpected than the last. "This will be unlike anything they anticipate," the AI said, its voice carrying a hint of respect. Kale laughed softly. "Good. Let them underestimate us. Humans do our best work when no one expects it." Hours later, the first alien scout appeared, moving cautiously. It scanned the asteroid field, its sensors trying to detect the ship. Kale waited, heart steady. The scout did not know the danger it faced. With a few precise maneuvers, Kale and the AI disabled its engines remotely, capturing it without a single shot fired. He examined the alien craft, learning their technology and preparing to exploit their weaknesses. As Kale worked, he realized something profound. This abandoned starship, once discarded and forgotten, was now alive again, not just as a weapon but as a partner. Together, they could reclaim humanity's place in the galaxy, not with brute force alone, but with intelligence, cunning, and audacity. But Kale knew the road ahead would be dangerous. The galaxy's empires would soon notice the power rising in the shadows. They would come for him, expecting an easy victory. They did not understand humans, or the bond forming between a man and a machine that had waited centuries for someone worthy. Kale took one last look at the control deck, lights shimmering across the panels. "All right," he said, voice firm. "Let us show them what humans can do." And with that, the starship shivered to life, engines thrumming with energy, weapons systems ready, shields humming. A discarded relic had become a weapon, and its captain, a human, was about to prove that even the galaxy's mightiest empires had underestimated humanity for far too long. Above the asteroid field, distant alien eyes were watching, unaware that they were about to witness the first spark of a revolution. Kale Ren stood on the control deck of the massive starship, eyes fixed on the holographic display of distant star systems. The vessel hummed beneath his feet, alive with energy and potential. Every panel, every wire, and every system he touched seemed to respond to his will. It was no longer just a relic. It was a weapon, and he was its captain. The AI, which had once doubted him, now spoke with quiet respect. "Kale, you have shown patience and ingenuity. The ship's systems are fully operational. The weapon arrays, shields, and engines are prepared for deployment." Kale nodded. "Good, but we can't just sit here. The aliens will notice us sooner or later. We need to understand what we're up against before they come for us." He activated the long-range scanners. The asteroid field hid them well, but energy readings from nearby systems suggested that alien fleets were already moving to investigate the unusual activity. Kale frowned. "They're faster than I thought. The moment we show power, they'll come, but that's fine. Let them." The AI projected a detailed map of the galaxy, showing multiple alien empires and their fleets. This vessel was designed to outmatch every known fleet, but it is not merely a ship, it is a repository of tactical knowledge. I have stored centuries of strategic data, human and alien alike. Kale's eyes lit up. So we have more than weapons. We have an edge they'll never expect. He spent the next hours studying the ship's capabilities. The engines allowed near-instantaneous jumps between star systems, faster than any warp technology the current fleets had. The shields were adaptive, able to withstand energy blasts and kinetic impacts. The weapon arrays could adjust their energy output, making them deadly at short and long ranges. And perhaps most important, the ship's AI could analyze any alien strategy in real time, allowing Kale to outthink enemies who had been dominating the galaxy for centuries. Kale practiced maneuvers in the asteroid field, pushing the ship to its limits. The hum of the engines and the glow of the control panels made him feel alive in a way he hadn't felt since he was a young pilot on a scavenger run. He began to understand the ship not just as a tool but as a partner. Together, they were unstoppable. Days later, the first signs of alien activity appeared. Scouts, small and fast, approached the asteroid field, searching for anomalies. Kale activated the ship's stealth mode and they slipped past undetected. But he knew that stealth alone wouldn't be enough for long. The galaxy was vast, but news of unusual energy readings traveled fast. Kale, the AI said, I recommend taking initiative. If we wait, we will eventually be cornered. Strategic strikes will provide both defense and warning. Kale agreed. You're right. Let's start with reconnaissance and a little surprise for anyone foolish enough to underestimate us. They jumped to a nearby system, where a small alien mining operation had been exploiting human colonies for resources. Kale maneuvered the ship into position, cloaked and silent. Using the ship's advanced weapons, he disabled the mining ships without harming the miners. He left messages for the aliens, warnings that humans were no longer weak, and that interference would come at a cost. The operation was a success. Kale felt a surge of pride as he observed the alien fleet receiving reports of the mysterious human-controlled weapon. Panic and confusion spread through their communications channels. Word of the vessel began traveling faster than Kale had imagined. Humans, once scattered and oppressed, were becoming a symbol of cunning and resilience. Kale knew he could not fight alone. There were still humans scattered across the galaxy, surviving in hiding, being exploited or forgotten. He sent encrypted messages, promising safety and a place in a new human fleet. Slowly, a few brave individuals responded, traveling to rendezvous points and joining him. Among them were former engineers, pilots, and soldiers, people who had waited decades for a chance to reclaim humanity's place. The AI calculated probabilities. A small fleet composed of skilled humans combined with this vessel could outmaneuver a significantly larger alien force. Humans, unpredictability increases strategic advantage. Kale smiled. Exactly. That's why they always underestimate us. As the human contingent gathered, Kale trained them in advanced tactics, using the ship's AI as a simulator. He emphasized clever strategies, teamwork, and adaptability over brute force. Each small success increased morale, and soon the group felt like more than a band of survivors. They were a fleet in spirit, a spark of human ingenuity rising in a galaxy that had forgotten them. But the alien empires were not idle. Reports arrived of a coalition forming to investigate the mysterious vessel. They had heard whispers of a human superweapon, thought extinct centuries ago. Their arrogance made them underestimate Kale's capabilities, assuming that even if a human controlled the ship, it could be destroyed by sheer numbers. Kale decided it was time for a test. He moved the vessel into a choke point between two star systems, a narrow corridor that limited the alien fleet's maneuvering. Cloaked, he waited, analyzing their tactics through intercepted communications. When the first alien destroyers passed, he struck. Energy blasts disabled engines and shields, but no ship was destroyed completely. Kale wanted to send a message. not an annihilation. The aliens were stunned. They had never faced technology like this, nor a human who thought and acted unpredictably. Panic spread through their fleets, and rumors of a human-led superweapon reached even the most distant command centers. Kale's human allies cheered. For the first time in centuries, humans were feared not for their strength, but for their intellect, courage, and ingenuity. They had become more than survivors. They had become hunters, using the galaxy's own assumptions against it. Days turned into weeks. Kale and his crew conducted a series of operations, liberating small colonies, rescuing humans enslaved by alien powers, and sabotaging supply lines. The vessel, now fully aware of Kale's commands, operated with near-perfect precision, anticipating enemy movements and countering them before the aliens could react. During one operation, Kale intercepted an alien fleet transporting captured humans. He orchestrated a daring rescue, using the vessel's cloaking and superior speed to infiltrate the enemy formation. The AI guided Kale through narrow corridors, past energy fields and around traps. Humans once thought lost were freed, joining the fledgling fleet with gratitude and determination. Afterward, Kale watched the liberated humans, their eyes wide with hope and awe. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "The galaxy has forgotten us, but we will remind them why humans survive. We are clever, we are brave, and we never give up." The AI, observing the same group, spoke with something like admiration. "Kale, you have exceeded all expectations. The vessel and its crew may become a symbol, not just of human power, but of human potential." Kale's gaze returned to the star-studded horizon. He knew the galaxy would soon take notice in force. Entire fleets would converge to destroy what they did not understand. But Kale also knew that humans thrived where others failed, on courage, ingenuity, and the ability to adapt in impossible situations. The first real challenge arrived sooner than expected. A combined alien fleet, larger than anything Kale had seen, emerged from a nearby system. Their numbers were overwhelming, their weapons advanced, and their intent clear: destroy the human vessel before it could rally a larger force. Kale's heart did not waver. "We'll make them remember what humans can do," he said. He activated the ship's engines, weaving through the asteroid field with unmatched speed. Shields flared as energy blasts streaked past. The AI calculated hundreds of possible maneuvers in seconds, each one countering the enemy's attempts to flank or trap them. Kale executed each maneuver with precision, outthinking the aliens at every turn. They expected a simple human ship to flee or surrender, but this human commanded a weapon they had long forgotten, and he fought with creativity no AI, no matter how advanced, could predict entirely. By the time the battle ended, several enemy ships were damaged or incapacitated, forced to retreat. Kale's actions had sent a clear message: humans were back, and they were not to be underestimated. The AI spoke softly, almost in wonder. "Kale, you have turned this abandoned vessel into more than a weapon. You have awakened the potential of humanity itself." Kale smiled faintly. "And this is just the beginning. We're going to need every bit of cunning, courage, and teamwork if we want to survive what comes next. The galaxy thinks humans are weak, but they haven't seen anything yet." Above the stars, distant fleets watched, trembling at the unknown threat rising from the shadows. Humans, long thought extinct as a dominant force, were beginning to reclaim their place. And the abandoned starship, once discarded and forgotten, had become a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience, a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever known. To be continued. Kale, Ren stood on the bridge of the massive starship, the hum of engines vibrating through the floor beneath him. Around him, the small fleet of humans he had gathered, a mix of scavengers, engineers, and former soldiers, prepared for the battle that would determine their future. For the first time in centuries, humans were united, and the galaxy was about to take notice. The alien coalition had learned of the human-controlled superweapon. They had mobilized fleets from multiple systems, each larger and more advanced than anything Kale had faced before. Their goal was simple: annihilate the humans before they could rise further. Kale had known this day would come, and he had been preparing. "Kale," the AI said, its calm voice contrasting with the tension in the bridge, "the enemy fleet is vast. Their weapons are more powerful than we have encountered before. Casualties will be significant if we engage directly." Kale's eyes scanned the holographic display. "We won't engage directly. That's exactly what they expect. Humans survive because we do the unexpected. We'll hit them where they think they are safe, and we'll use their own arrogance against them." The humans in the fleet listened to Kale's strategy with growing confidence. For years, they had survived as scattered individuals, hiding from alien oppression. Now they were part of something greater, a movement, a chance to reclaim humanity's place in the galaxy. Kale's plan relied on speed, cunning, and precision. The Starship's advanced AI calculated hundreds of variables: enemy movements, weapons ranges, energy flows, even psychological predictions of alien commanders. Together, Kale and the AI devised tactics that no alien could anticipate. As the enemy fleets entered the system, Kale's human ships used stealth and agility to strike first. Small squadrons disabled supply lines, hacked communication arrays, and sowed confusion among the alien forces. The humans fought with ingenuity, setting traps and feints, striking and retreating before the enemy could respond. The alien commanders were unprepared for the tactics. They expected a frontal battle, a test of raw strength. Instead, they faced humans who moved unpredictably, adapting in real time to every challenge. Kale's ship, cloaked and nearly untouchable, appeared at crucial moments, delivering precise strikes with energy cannons and disabling key enemy vessels. "Impressive," the AI said. "Humans' unpredictability increases efficiency in combat. It amplifies the effectiveness of the vessel beyond its design." Kale smiled. "Told you, never underestimate a human." Days passed and the battle escalated. Alien fleets continued to pour into the system, each wave larger than the last. But Kale's strategy remained effective. Humans liberated occupied colonies, rescued enslaved survivors, and captured alien technology for their own use. Each victory, no matter how small, added to the legend of the human fleet and the superweapon that led them. During a critical confrontation, Kale faced the main alien armada, a massive formation of warships, far superior in numbers and firepower. Their goal was to destroy him first, to cut the head off the human resurgence before it could grow. Kale's fleet was outnumbered 10-1, but he had learned to trust in human creativity, courage, and cunning. "Ready the ship," Kale said. "This is going to be a fight they'll never forget." The vessel's engines roared as it jumped into the center of the enemy formation, cloaked until the last moment. Kale coordinated attacks, using hit-and-run maneuvers and feints to divide the alien forces. The AI calculated optimal attack patterns, allowing human pilots to exploit gaps in the enemy's defenses. Energy cannons flared, shields absorbed devastating blasts, and the battlefield became a chaotic dance of strategy and firepower. Kale moved the Starship with precision, anticipating enemy maneuvers, striking at critical points, and avoiding destruction. Each victory inspired the human fleet, which fought with renewed determination and courage. Amid the chaos, Kale spotted the flagship of the alien coalition, its hull bristling with weapons and defenses. He knew that destroying it would break the enemy's morale and shift the balance of the battle. The AI calculated a bold, almost impossible maneuver. "Kale, this approach has high risk, but success will decisively end the engagement." Kale nodded. "Then we take the risk. Humanity doesn't survive by being cautious." He led the vessel in a daring strike through a narrow asteroid corridor, using the terrain to shield the ship from the flagship's concentrated fire. With precision timing, Kale unleashed the full power of the vessel's energy cannons, striking weak points identified by the AI. The flagship erupted in flames, disabling its engines and communications. The alien fleet faltered, shocked at the sudden loss of their command ship. Seizing the moment, Kale coordinated the human fleet in a decisive counterattack. The aliens, disoriented and leaderless, could not respond effectively. Human ingenuity, combined with the superweapon's capabilities, turned the tide completely. By the end of the battle, the alien coalition had suffered significant losses, retreating in disarray. Kale and the AI observed the battlefield, scanning for remaining threats. "They've underestimated humans," Kale said quietly, "and that's why they lost." The humans aboard the fleet cheered. For the first time in centuries, they felt power, freedom, and hope. Kale had not only survived, but had turned a forgotten starship into a symbol of human ingenuity and dominance. The liberated humans began rebuilding colonies, reclaiming systems, and strengthening the fleet. Kale trained new recruits, passing on tactics, strategies, and lessons learned. Humans were no longer scattered survivors. They were a force the galaxy would never ignore again. But Kale knew this was only the beginning. Alien powers would regroup, new threats would arise, and the galaxy would challenge humanity at every turn. Yet, he also knew humans thrived in impossible situations, using courage, cleverness, and adaptability to overcome challenges. The AI spoke, its voice filled with quiet admiration. "Kale, humanity's potential has been realized through your actions. The vessel, once discarded, now serves as the symbol and instrument of a new era." Kale looked out at the stars, the remnants of alien fleets retreating into the distance. "And this is just the start. The galaxy thought humans were weak, but we've proven them wrong. They'll never forget what we can do when we rise." Above the liberated systems, humans began to rebuild, united under the banner of ingenuity, resilience, and courage. Stories spread of the human who had awakened a forgotten superweapon, leading a scattered people to reclaim their place among the stars. The discarded starship, once hidden and ignored, had become the galaxy's mightiest weapon, not because of its firepower alone, but because of the human who commanded it. Kale Ren had shown that intelligence, adaptability, and bravery were humanity's ultimate weapons. The galaxy would remember humans not as weak survivors, but as clever, resourceful, and unstoppable. And Kale, at the helm of the legendary starship, looked toward the horizon, ready for the next challenge. The stars were no longer a place to hide. They were a place to conquer, explore, and reclaim. For the first time in centuries, humans were back, and they were stronger than anyone could have imagined.